Hello everybody. Right, as you know, I've been busy with this. It's nowhere near finished yet, but I've got the HDO and the first L mainly dug out. But my fingers are killing me, and I need to stop for today. But before I do finish completely, had the realisation today that it's not that long until I need to have this finished. Got 6 days, or 5 days really. I get some glue, so I'm just prepping something. So I've got 6 days, 5 days to get this finished, and the resins, or the resin, is going to take a minimum 24 hours. Times 2, because we're going to have the colour and then the clear, and I'll be using new resin, which I haven't used before. Oh shit, that's way more glue than I really need. That I haven't used before, so if I have any problems, I'm buggered. So because I am pretty much done for today, at least with the carving, then there's something I need to do to allow me to carry on as quickly as possible, and that is that there are a number of holes in this item. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 maybe. There's mainly 6. That I need to deal with. There's a couple of holes that are natural holes in the wood. I'm not too worried about those, but there's other holes that look like they've been drilled a bit, and I'm not happy with leaving those. So I'm going to get my trusty old mahogany dust, which I've had for a while now, and some glue. So I'm going to obviously mix these two together, and I'm going to pop them in the holes, because like I say, I'm done for digging, excavating today, so I figured I might as well do this, and then at least this can dry overnight. And then when I hopefully come to do a bit more tomorrow, this will mainly be dried, and I can carry on. So effectively I'm not losing any time. Rather than, for example, if I didn't do this, I was going to do it tomorrow, then I'd lose the whole day waiting for it to dry, whereas I can do it now at the end of this day, and then it will dry tomorrow. And if it needs topping up, then cool. I don't know why I said cool, but there you go. Okay, drop a bit more wood dust in there. So I'm going to go with the recently found trusted technique of just fucking dolloping it, rather than trying to be neat and precise. I am literally just going to fucking dollop it on into the holes. Now, of the holes, you can't see one, there's one here, which I wasn't really going to fill, but I am going to, because I fear that if I don't, I could end up regretting it. Now what I don't want to do is let this mixture dollop off to the side. And obviously one of the reasons for doing a nice healthy dollop is that it will sink down in there. The hole that's there doesn't matter, because I'm going to be carving that out anyway. That one's natural. Okay, and there's a number of holes over here. So this one does need filling because I'm not carving this bit out. And then we've got this one, do again a bit more on there actually. That's probably too much, but it's gonna need to. Should have got a smaller cocktail stick really as well. I want to just be able to pop that down in there, because otherwise we're going to end up with an air bubble. I don't really want an air bubble. So, dollop it on. We've got one here that's right on the edge of the letters. Now obviously these will get sanded down. I'll just need to remember to clean them. Okay, the rest of those holes look sort of more like natural holes in the wood rather than any kind of drilled hole. Making a bit of a mess of that, but it'll be alright. With the dollop on there, should give it the opportunity to sink down if it wants to. But having done that now, then I can leave this for today. That is that done. And I can take a break, and then on the next video clip, which will probably be following straight away, I should hopefully be continuing on with the L. Now what I will say is that I had mentioned before that I was going to do the excavating and then clean up the edges. I'm sticking with that at the moment because I'm finding it's taking quite a while to actually do the excavation. But also I've been learning as well that, for example, I've been wanting to go around the edge to give myself a depth gauge, so to speak. And I found that if I, so for example on, you can see on this one, right, if I went to go around the edge to do the depth that I want, then I was struggling with the bit wanting to slide onto wood that I don't want to carve. But on this one, I found that if I actually went inside a bit and just took a bit off on the inner bit, then there was less resistance and the drill bit wasn't being pushed away, so I was able to lean into it a bit more. I noticed that on that one. Now something that I am having to, something that I've had to consider, it's only sort of it's only really last night that I thought about it. And that is that my idea of doing coloured resin not up to the top is what I want to do, but it comes at a slightly frustrating or comes with a slightly frustrating detail, and that is that if the edges of the letters are not precise, if it's not cleaned up properly and nicely, then it'll look shit. And the reason being, I don't know if I've got any way that I can sort of explain it really. Well, yeah, okay, right. I'll use this. If the edge of the lettering, right, let's say this is like depth of the lettering, so we just use the tip here. If the edge of the letter that is dug out is perfectly straight, then when I fill it with resin, right, then it'll come up to a level and it will look like a nice clean edge all the way around the letter. However, if it so happens that it is not such a clean excavation, and for example there's bumps down a bit, then what's going to happen is the resin could, instead of being, it'll still be level, but instead of it going all the way to the edge, it could get hung up on any bits that stick out, which is where it could look crap, because it could end up looking like the letters have got very wobbly edges. So one of the things that I've had to sort of think about last night and today and while I was doing this is, how am I going to deal with the edges? Because there's two ways that I can do it that I can see at the moment. One of them is go for that straight edge, right? And the other is to go for an angled edge. Now, the angled edge, I think, could look better, but I also think would be harder to achieve. But having said that, it could be extremely difficult to achieve the straight edge, because, I mean, just as an example of the bits that I'm using at the moment, I can't get any of my bits to be perfectly horizontal with the piece of wood. It's just not possible. There's no way of getting that kind of angle. But I can, for example, I've got the drill bit in at the moment, and I have been trying a little bit with this. I do have some bits that are sort of straight edged, and the tip can sand and so can the sides, or can excavate, I should say. Now, what I could do is, with this, is attack it from straight up, from straight above. However, there's an issue with that as well. See, this is how much I've had to think about this. Because this is cylindrical, right, then if I am not perfect in my straight line, then I'm going to end up with a wavy edge. So in trying to create a straight edge, I could end up creating a wavy edge. Having said that, I could use this same sort of drill bit, but on an angle, not a lot of an angle, but enough of an angle so that I could, and this may be the way I end up going. If, for example, I was able to hollow or excavate enough of the wood here, so I'm trying not to spill the glue, to excavate enough of the wood that when I put the drill bit in, whichever one I choose, I can have the top of the bit being the marker. So the top of the bit wants to be level with the wood. So I would know that I would need to go down so far and then create my straight edge, or attempt to. That still comes with its risks though, because it means a lot of hand, sort of, what's the term? Well, basically winging it to try and get those straight lines. But that may be the way that I need to do it, because I don't think I can really go with much of an angle. So for example, if I wanted to try, I don't think this particular bit would do it, but another one I've got. So if I wanted to, for example, use that as the angle, I'd have difficulty in judging the depth unless I marked this. But also it would only need a little bit of a tip to then get it wrong. But using something like that might work on sort of much narrower writing, something that was only that width, rather than what I'm doing here, which is, sorry about that, phone decided to say memory was full when it fucking isn't, but anyway. Yeah, so I was on about the angle, so yeah, it's a bit awkward. I mean, the Arthur chair that I've done, the resin work that I did on that, on the lettering anyway, that lettering had been machined. A machine had done that, so the lettering was perfect, which worked really well for the resin. I'm not a machine, so unfortunately there's a chance that the edges of this may not be as sort of really clean as I would like them to be. So there's two ways that I can go about it. One, go, well, it ain't going to be perfect, so who cares? And another is to go, actually, you know what? Take the time to do it to the best of your ability. And at least then, you should be happy with the result. Whereas if you half-heart it, or if I half-heart it, it will look shit. I won't be happy with it, and I'd probably want to redo it, and I won't have the time. So I might as well try and do it properly, or try and do it as well as I can. But that's also why, as I've said, I'm going down that route of excavating as much as I can, and then focusing on the edges afterwards. Because the other thing with that as well is that, for example, around the O, on a bit of the H, on a couple of the L's, mainly on sort of the curved bits or the corners, there's still a few sort of pinholes where my guidelines. Now I have kind of intentionally left a bit of those, because that gives me that bit of area to work with, to clean up the edges without enlarging the lettering too much. Okay, right, I'm going to bugger off because I need to go and have a nap, because I am knackered. And then, yeah, on the next video clip, hopefully we will continue digging out the L and the Y. Right, see you in a bit.